Hey guys, welcome back to the mill. We appreciate you tuning in to our channel, Bearded Lumber. What I got behind me is our Grizzly G0454Z series. That's a 20-inch Grizzly with a spiral head, cutter head. A great piece of equipment. We use it quite often. Matter of fact, I got a bunch of wood over here delivered that Matthew and I got a plane Monday, and I got some cedar on the way for another customer. We got a plane. It's a great tool, but it does require a little bit of maintenance. I've showed you in the past where you got to grease the bearings, daily. But today we're going to drive in a little bit deeper. It's been at least 2 years since I rotated the teeth. This cutter head has 96 half-inch square carbide cutters, and they last for ages. But you do occasionally have to turn them. And I noticed the last time we planed the other day, it was sniping just a little bit. And what we've got over there to plane is hickory. If you've ever planed or did any woodworking with hickory, it's extremely hard. So I want to put a fresh, just take all the teeth out and turn them. I want to put a fresh edge so we get a very good cut on the material. So. Okay guys, this should be all you need. Of course, you're gonna need an air hose. We got our 3/8 impact. This is our Torx bit. I will not be breaking the bolts loose. We'll take the ratchet and break them loose. But instead of sitting there and spinning them all out, I'll use this to spin them back out. We'll do the same thing with reassemble. We'll start them by hand, use this to run them down, then we'll torque them by hand with the 1/4-inch ratchet. You'll need some scraper tools. Might as well add my pocket knife to that. We'll need it. We'll need a wire brush. This is probably the most important tool right here. We're gonna take every one of these teeth. Here's a box of teeth. You'll need some spare teeth as well, or cutters. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this Sharpie and I'm gonna mark a black line on every one of those teeth before I take them out, because what I'm gonna do, if that's sitting in there like that, I'm just gonna pick it up and turn it 90 degrees. We'll have a brand new cutter head. I got spares here because we may find one that's cracked, or sometimes they'll just break when you're trying to take them apart. Magnetic tool tray is good because we're gonna have 96 teeth and we're gonna have 96 screws. And I do keep a bag of extra Torx screws because sometimes the head will strip out on them. But that should be all we need to disassemble this machine. And hang on just a minute, I'll get the covers off of it and we'll get another look at what's going on inside. Okay guys, I got the covers off, the exhaust cover, your blade cover here for your cutter head, as well as the chip extractor, and I blowed all the sawdust out of it. One or two things I missed that you'll need to do this job with is an abundance of patience. I'm doing this on a Saturday afternoon. Matthew and I got all our work done. We had customers come by this morning to pick up some material. Had a new customer come by for a consultation. All that's done. There's nothing else to do today other than this. And I come to this with a clear head and knowing that it's just gonna take me an hour and a half, 2 hours to slowly, methodically go through this and disassemble it, clean it, being the worst part, and then reassemble it and be ready to use it. So that being said, don't start this if you're in the middle of the week and you're rammy and you're in a hurry, because it won't go well. Okay, let's take a closer look. You can see the sawdust packed under these teeth right here. It still works perfectly fine, but some of the last wood that we did was a little bit green for a customer. So it's packed right up against the cutter head on every one of these. So what I'm gonna start out by doing is I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna put a black Sharpie line on the cutting edge that we're currently using. And then I'm gonna take every one of those teeth and I'm gonna rotate it 90 degrees to the left. And that leaves me a brand new cutting edge basically here, new here, and new here. Because this will be the first time that we have turned them. Well, it actually be the second time because I left a note in here. We turned them counterclockwise one time on November the 25th, 2021. So it's been almost 2 years on this cutter head right here. So I'll make another note that we're going to rotate them 90 degrees and they'll be on their second cutting. I'm telling you guys, you can't go wrong with these helical heads. They get a lot of mileage. Okay, unfortunately, from here forward, it's going to be a lot of time lapse. I'll try to stop at critical points and point out different things, but right now I'm going to go through and mark every one of these on the cutting face with my Sharpie, and then I'll take my Torx bit, break them loose, spin the bolts out, put all the bolts and the cutter heads in my tray. There's no need to keep them organized. You're doing the only important part is marking the current face that you're on, because we know when we put it back in, we're just going to turn it 90 degrees, plop it back in the same hole. But I'm going to have to take all 96 out, and I'm going to have to clean all 96 pockets. And then I'll probably bring me a chair over here and I'll sit down and scrape the bottom side of every cutter head to make sure we don't have any material on that flat face when we put it back together. Because if you do, instead of that cutter sitting in parallel with the rest of them, you'll have one that's up. It may only be up a thousandth or two, but you'll see it in your finished product. So sorry about the time lapse, but hang on. Okay guys, that's halfway through the disassembly. This rotor has 4 spirals and I've disassembled 2 of them so far. And as you can already tell, it is a time-consuming, tedious process. I only seen 1 broken tooth as I was rolling around, but I have found upwards of 4 already. So when I broke them loose, it apparently had a crack in it and then it released itself. So if you're gonna work on your planer, make sure you have spare teeth, because they'll have a stress crack in them and you won't see it until you take the tension off of it. And when you reassemble, I'm gonna take these teeth, if you can see them up close, I don't know if it'll focus, but I gotta scrape all that sawdust and pitch and everything off there and get them good and smooth. So if you don't, and you put this tooth back in its saddle and it's got dirt under it, and you try to force it in, these carbide teeth are so hard, just a grain of sand, 1/1000, 2/1000 or something under there will get it pinched sideways and they will shatter. And I won't be surprised when we reassemble that I don't crack 3 or 4 more. It's just part of the game you play. But if it's cutting good and you don't have spare teeth, don't mess with it till you get your spare teeth in, because you will need them. Okay, that being said, I'm gonna give my fingers just a break and we'll get back to it. Okay guys, sorry about that. Had some of my wife's kinfolk come by, dropped off some cedar for me to plane next week, and we just stood around talking while I was cleaning away. Let me show you what we got here so far. I went through this drum with this screwdriver and that wire brush and air hose and scraped all that mess off, all that pitch and rosin off all those saddles. And I'm pretty well satisfied with it. Don't see anything else. I'll double check each saddle real close as I reassemble, but that's gonna do it on that part. Now look at all this mess. I got all these separated. I'm gonna go through each one of these with a pocket knife, and we'll turn them over and scrape the backs of them and inspect them. Make sure I don't have any that's cracked or broken. And then we get to start this process all over again of assembly. But like I said, it's not hard. It's just tedious. It just takes time. You need to be in the right frame of mind. And I'll be honest with you, every day is not the right day for Eric to sit down and do this, okay? It's Saturday afternoon. You know, it's after 5 o'clock now. Got nothing else to do today. I'm gonna sit here and enjoy the peace and quiet and scrape off some carbide teeth, put this thing back together. It goes without saying, you know, you need to do this with the machine unplugged, but I'm sorry. If I gotta tell you to unplug the machine, please don't do this kind of work. That's just good common sense, you know. It's not hard work. Just, you know, use good common sense when you're doing it. Now, when we go back together, I'll be a lot more careful with my fingers, because the side of this blade that was exposed is noticeably dull. The side of this blade that hasn't been exposed is sharp enough. I mean, it's not like a Woodmiser saw blade. I can rub it you know, but it is at a good angle and it'll be good sharp. So probably have some finger pricks before I get done. Thanks for hanging in there, and sorry about the time lapse. You sit here and watch me scrape these things off for the next 30 minutes or so, but appreciate it. Okay, folks, I don't know how long it'll take on time lapse, maybe a minute or so, but according to my GoPro, that was 52 minutes of fun with me, a pocket knife, and a bunch of little carbide teeth. You know, sitting here, I was thinking about easier ways to do this, and I've done this several times, and I really can't come up with one. Of course, you could soak these teeth in some kind of solution to liquefy all that sap and creosote. What do you do about this little black mark you made here? This is my dull side. That black mark goes away. Some of them got numbers, some of them don't. But if I lose that little black mark, then I don't know which side's the sharp side, which side's the dull side. So it kind of eliminates that. Don't want to grind them. They're too small to try to hold any kind of wire brush and do anything. The benefit of me doing this with a dull razor, now neither one of the blades I used were sharp, so don't use a brand new one. But as I rub that across that face, getting the pitch off of it, if there's an imperfection, whoops, ooh, I felt it. If there's an imperfection in that blade, I don't know if you can see it, right down here in this corner, it's got a chip. Stroking this knife across there, raking that off, that will show up. So I found 2 teeth that had imperfections. I would probably go ahead and run them, but the imperfection, when I put this tooth in, I'm gonna turn it like that. Imperfection on both of them is on the side that I want to be sharp, so I'll probably just put them back in the spare pile, and if I break one, you know, I can put it in there. I won't put it on the chip side, I'll put it on the sharp side. But that's gonna do, GoPro keeps going dark, sorry. That's gonna do it for this part. I gotta run over to the other shop. I remembered one more tool we gotta have to finish this project up, other than patience. And well, never mind. I was gonna tell you my fingers are gonna hurt tonight, but I don't have to wait till the night. They're hurting right now. That's a lot of hand scraping. But let me run over here and grab this one tool that we need to finish the assembly, and we'll put this old girl back together, and it'll be tuned up, ready to go to work next week. This is the one last tool that we needed. Some emery paper. What I'm gonna do, every one of these teeth before I install them, or yeah, carbide teeth, I'm gonna set it on top of there, give it a quick little wiggle, blow off any residue on the bottom as well as in the threads before I install it. Any kind of foreign material there, same thing with the screws, I'm gonna have to clean them off a little bit. Any kind of foreign material there is subject to cause you to have a tooth shatter. And when I reinstall the tooth, instead of the sharp edge facing that way, the old edge, I'm gonna turn it counterclockwise, one turn, and that's gonna put my black line facing me instead of facing the way the cutter head turns. And grab my tool here. No more impact. We'll just run it in by hand, and then grab my ratchet, and these things got to be tight, people. As it squeezes down, it should get instantly hard. If it feels like you're compressing something, you got trash under it. Take it back apart and see what's in there. I screwed that down, and when it got tight, it just went tight. So I got a good confidence there's nothing underneath the tooth, and I'm gonna, oh, see, shattered one anyway. Gotta love it. I know y'all couldn't see it because it's on this first position here, but as I compressed that tooth, it just shattered, and there was nothing under it. It was clean, no visible cracks. That's another reason I like to scrape them by hand. I'm looking for visible signs of imperfection. Well, every time I do this, I probably lose 10% of the teeth just because they're so incredibly hard, they're brittle. You're gonna do the same thing when you change yours. Just know that in advance. Same way it screwed down there, it felt good. The black line's facing me. Okay, and like I said, they gotta be unreal tight. You know, there's 6mm fasteners. Unreal tight is probably 15, 20 pounds of torque on them, but you'll know if you leave one loose, it'll come out and make a mess. So that's where get rid of that. Don't need it no more. There we go. Next tooth. Okay, I'm visually inspecting inside the chamfer and the bottom where I just cleaned it. Then I will look on the radius of this screw, make sure there's nothing there. Put it in the next slot. Only 94 more to go. Let's see if this one will tighten up. I also got the black line facing me, putting a new sharp edge, because the cutter head goes this way. So that's a new sharp edge on the cutter. Okay, that's snug. Okay. I have used this Torx bit before. I got some new ones in the box. I'm gonna grab a new one. Here's a brand new one. If you're gonna have one of the machines, it don't hurt to have 5 or 6 of these laying around, because they will just, they'll twist off. They're case hardened, and when you go to use them, they just go, they go bad. Okay, I'm gonna stick it back on time lapse, because this is gonna be a laborious process, but. Okay guys, you just watched me time lapse put one row on. This cutter head has 4 flutes and they spiral as they go across. It starts here, makes a complete twist, and ends right here on the top. So it goes all the way around 4 times. That time lapse was 21 minutes for me to put 1 flute in. I got 3 more to do. So it don't take too much math to figure out how long this is gonna take. So I'm not gonna bore you with the rest of them. I'll come back when I find out how much carnage we're gonna have as far as teeth. Right now we're probably missing 6 or 8, and 2 that I'm not gonna reuse. But when I find out how many I got to replace, we'll come back and talk about it. Okay guys, as promised, I'm back. Got all the teeth installed, or inserts, proper term for them. Let's look at the carnage here. What it cost me. Get the camera down here where you can see it. Okay, I ended up when I took it apart, I only had 1 broken tooth, but in the process of disassembly and reassembly, I ended up going just a little above average. I had to replace 13 inserts. Okay, that's, like I say, it's kind of common to expect about 10% of them. So if you got 96 teeth and you're going to rotate them, you need to have 15 or 20 on hand for breakage. Also, the little 6mm bolts, I keep them, the ones that hold the inserts in. I got a bag of them over there, because if you strip the top out of them trying to tighten them, you need to replace it. Matter of fact, I'll try to remember, you know, another year and a half if I can remember that far out. May just go ahead and order them now. When I rotate the teeth again on this machine, I'll probably just put 96 new 6mm bolts in there, because the majority of these are the original ones that came with the Grizzly. They've had the first set on there that were turned 4 times. I bought a second set, put them on there, wasn't happy with the finish, and this is before I learned a little bit more. Took those off, so that's the 5th time. Put another new set on, that was 6, and then I've turned them twice since then. So 7 times those have been in and out. And these little T20 sockets, I broke 2 today, and the last 3 new ones I've had are twisted. I don't know the brand. Yeah, I do. Here's the brand. These are Capris from Amazon. Don't buy them. The metal's not hard enough. When you could actually twist the torque socket before you twist out the threads. Now, this one here, Lord have mercy. C-A-P-R-I. Now this is a Capri brand here, but it had a better metal. It was a lot more case hardened, and I accidentally snapped it with the impact driver. That was a snafu on my part. But these, I won't order any more of these. They don't hold up, because when you're twisting that Torx bit, it should be case hardened enough to, yeah, the threads may wear out, but you shouldn't actually see a twist, a visible twist in the threads. So just a tip, don't buy those. So that's what it cost me to change them. 13 teeth. I didn't have to put any bolts in. They didn't go to the 5th dimension that 10mm sockets always seem to end up in. You guys know what I mean. Those things, when they get tired of working, they just fritter off to another dimension and never come back. Give me a minute or 2 to reassemble this thing, and I'm gonna run a board through it and call it an evening. I walk down here at 2 o'clock, 2:10. It is 7:30. Now, granted, I did have one customer come by, drop some logs, cost me 15, 20 minutes. And wife's cousin, his wife, come by and dropped some boards off. Cost me a few minutes, but I worked, they was here an hour or so. I worked the whole time, scraping and cleaning on this shaft while they was here. So that's what, 7:30, whew, a little over 5 hours. It's about normal, 4 or 5 hour job. Normally goes a little quicker because Matthew come help me, but he was editing these videos that you like to watch. So, and it's Saturday, I've got everything caught up. So it's a good day just to enjoy the peace and quiet. The reason I bought the second set, excuse me, let's drop one. When I wore out the first set that came with it, I bought a set from, I don't remember, so I won't tell you a name, but I bought a set of these inserts, put them in, and was, I guess, being over meticulous, looking at the board and started seeing lines in it. And it's like, my gosh, why won't it cut no better? I blame these inserts, and they are the problem. There's a 1 to 2 thousandths difference as they go around the drum, and on certain hardnesses of wood, they show up worse than others, especially hardwood. It'd be just enough, you could run across it and you can hang your fingernail on it. Now, whether the tooth was maybe just 1,000th out of size than the other one, or maybe they was just 1,000ths worth of dirt under the saddle when you tighten it down. So I got mad, just ordered another set from a different supplier, put them on, had the exact same problem. And we had planed several thousand feet for my son's house he's living in over here. When Dad bought it from my mom's grandma. went through and remodeled it. We sawed several thousand feet of white pine, made V-groove siding and put it in the house. We was over there eating dinner one night and I looked at the wall and I said, hey Pop, we've been having this problem for years. You can see lines in it. We just never had noticed it. So that being said, if you need this planer for the super fine finish, don't buy it. Buy you a blade planer, change your blades every day, and you'll get that super fine finish. But that's not what we're after here. We're wanting to get a lot of wood off and get a good finish. And if you're gonna do woodworking, I suggest leaving, you know, a 64th, maybe a 32nd. Take a little hot pass off both sides with your smaller blade planer, and it'll save you time sanding. But you can't ask for anything to plane any quicker and do any better than these. If you got a drum sander, you can run it through a drum sander, and that little bit that you can catch on your finger will go right away. But in the past, if I was doing something, cabinet doors or something, I didn't want to have to sand a little extra, I would leave just a little bit on the board when I got done, and I'd run it through my little 12-inch DeWalt planer and take just a 32nd off of it, and that solved that problem. So enough of that. I'll be right back after I get this assembled. Sorry about that. Try being a small business owner. Everybody tells you love it, but there's a lot that comes with it. You know, there's a phone call, 2 or 3 text messages, and lining different things up. It's just part of the game. You know, it's not like punching the clock 9 to 5. I work continuously. Now, I'll be honest with you, about 10, 11 o'clock, I might ignore a text, unless it's from a good buddy, till tomorrow morning. But don't ever miss the opportunity to make money. People offering to come and buy something or need something done. Communicate with them, see what you can do. Okay, I got the machine fully assembled. Got the vacuum system. That's a swing and a miss. We'll tighten it up and do it again. Worked great. Had the first pass through, it didn't hit, so I come back, tighten it up, turn it to, and it run through. The fit and finish, I know it's not going to come through real good on the camera. You can see the little lines that you're going to get, and that's from the difference in the inserts. Now on this cedar, you know, with a piece of 80 grit sandpaper on your orbital, it's gone. Now look at this right here. Nice little surprise. That burn nail. Luckily we just clipped, just barely put a shine on it. But that will break teeth, and I'm looking right here as it progressed on out through the wood. It didn't, but I'm sure it didn't do teeth no good. Make sure you tell people that when you're planing their wood that you didn't saw. If I hit nails, the tooth is not so expensive. It's the amount of time it takes me to tear this apart and replace it. And we don't do that for free. So One more thing I want to show you. If you're gonna own one of these, here's my goodie box and toolbox. I told you I bought a second set that I took off. That's them. These are the ones that are left from the original set. They're all used up, but I'll be honest with you, a dual tooth is better than no tooth when you need one. I got a bag of new bolts. You will need them. I'm gonna buy some more of these. Like any other tool you got around your shop, if you're just using it casually, it don't cost you much in maintenance or inventory. If you're down a week or two, ain't no big deal. But this kind of stuff, we make money with it, and I try my best to have, you know, the consumables. You know, if the motor burns up or something, you know, you can't have that. It's gonna take what it takes to get it replaced. But as far as the consumables, you want to have them on hand. Same thing for this wood miser. I need belts, I need blades, I need rollers, I need bearings, all the consumables type stuff that's just going to wear out at random. Have it sitting here readily available to get it back up and running so that we can make money with it. That being said, that's our maintenance video, teeth or insert changing or rotating, however you want to phrase it, on a Grizzly 20-inch spiral head planer. It's a good 5-6 hour job by yourself. It's meticulous, it's fiddly, it's nothing difficult. I mean, just got to be very detailed. When I put my teeth back in, I made sure the little black line was turned, you know, 90 degrees all the way through, all 96 of them. Well, 80, was it about 83, because I had to put 13 out of the box over in it. But you know, if you're gonna take the time to take them out, clean them, and put them in, you want to make sure to get them rotated where you want them going back, because this is the second set, or the second turn. So I still got side 3 and 4 that I can get out of these before I have to buy another new set to put in it. But I'd hazard to guess how many board feet we've run through this thing in 2 years. There's been days where we run it 8 hours a day, and you know, several days on the end. This thing runs, I think, 20 to 25 feet a minute. So the board footage is tens of thousands of board feet. It's a very good, for your money, it's a very good value. I've got, like I say, a 12-inch DeWalt. I've got 6 or 8 sets of, you know, 12-inch blades. I got a sharpener to sharpen them, and it just don't do the same kind of quantity of work that this style machine will do. Whether it's a Grizzly or any other brand with a spiral head cutter, you will not regret it. You'll really love it. That being said, I believe we're going to end it here. It's way past supper time. I just got a text. That's probably my wife. You know, where you at? What are you doing? But we appreciate you watching our channel. I'm thoroughly amazed at how many people around the world would want to see what I do every day, and I don't take it for granted. I'm getting more at ease at talking to the camera and trying to give what knowledge I got. I'm not old, but you know, I'm 55. Won't be long, I'll be 56. But I've learned a few things over the years, and I'm trying to give back. Don't get me wrong, we're hoping to make money off of YouTube one day, just like everybody else. But when Matthew and I started, I told him, well, one rule: I'll not be fake and not pull no punches. I'm gonna tell you what I think. If you don't like it, they'll go somewhere else. You know, this is just me. This is how I am every day. I'm not putting on airs for anybody. I'm not acting, not gonna act. Don't know how. It's just, Matthew and I are just like we are, normal people. And we happen to be trying to YouTube along the way. But we appreciate you watching. If you would, tell your neighbor, tell your friend, share it on Facebook, whatever. But like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you back at the mill. Thanks, guys.